Hey everyone, welcome back. You know how much we love digging into the nitty-gritty of success stories, right? Well, today's deep dive is all about the art of the comeback.
Ooh, the comeback. Love it.
Yeah, and we've got some incredible material to work with this time around. You sent over these snippets from this podcast called, what was it, The Art of the Comeback? I think?
That's the one. Yeah. Some really interesting stuff.
Definitely. We're talking Michael Jordan, J.K. Rowling, even Steve Jobs.
Hmm.
All folks who face some pretty major setbacks, but managed to turn things around in a spectacular way. And the real question here, right, isn't about hero worship or anything like that.
Right.
It's about figuring out what made these comebacks tick. What can we learn from these stories? What are those universal principles that apply to, well, anyone who's hit a rough patch and wants to bounce back?
Yeah, absolutely. And I think one of the most fascinating things that jumps out when you look at these stories, right, is this. These people, they all reached incredible heights,
Oh, yeah, for sure.
but none of them got there without, stumbling a few times along the way.
Oh, they definitely had their share of obstacles.
They did. And yet they were able to take those stumbles, those failures even, and really reframe them. They didn't see those setbacks as the end, but as kind of a launching pad for something new, something even better.
It's like that saying, right? Failure isn't the end, it's just the beginning of a comeback.
Exactly. It's all about perspective.
Totally. It reminds me of this time I was working on this project. I can't remember exactly what it was, but I'd hit a total wall, like completely stuck.
Ugh, I hate that feeling.
It's the worst. And I was so tempted to just give up, scrap the whole thing. But then I thought, okay, wait a minute. What can I learn from this? Why is this a roadblock and how can I get around it? And honestly, just that little shift in thinking made all the difference.
See, you are practicing resilience without even knowing it.
Resilience, is that what you call it?
That's it. Like the podcast says, it's the ability to bounce back from adversity. And I think that's such a crucial point. It's not like some people are born with this magical resilience gene and others just, crumble at the first sign of trouble.
It's definitely not about luck.
No way. It's a skill, and anyone can develop it. It's about recognizing how you usually respond when things get tough and then consciously choosing a different path.
Okay, so then the question becomes, how do we actually build that resilience? Because, it's easy to feel a little intimidated by these like larger than life comeback stories.
You're right. We can't all be Michael Jordan getting cut from his high school basketball team and then, becoming a global icon.
Exactly.
But what we can do is learn from the mindset, the approach that these figures brought to what the podcast calls the grind. That's where the real magic happens.
The grind, huh?
Yeah, it's not about some overnight success story. It's about putting in the work day after day, even when you don't feel like it, even when it's hard. It's about embracing those small steps forward, those little victories that pave the way for the big wins. Like, think about J.K. Rowling, right? She faced rejection after rejection with Harry Potter. I mean, can you imagine the temptation to just give up?
I can only imagine. To have that much faith in your work.
It's incredible, but she persevered, and that's what it's all about.
And you know what? There's something about those stories of perseverance that's just so inspiring.
Totally agree.
When you see someone overcome these incredible odds,
Yeah.
it makes you believe that maybe you can too, right? Like it gives you permission to dream bigger, to push harder. I remember reading about this entrepreneur who lost absolutely everything in a fire, her entire business.
Oh, wow.
And then she went and rebuilt it from scratch. And that story at that moment, it gave me this boost of energy when I really needed it. I was facing my own challenges at the time. And I was like, if she can do that, then I can definitely handle this.
It's the ripple effect of resilience, the power of legacy. These stories aren't just about personal triumphs, they inspire others to tap into their own potential. Like Steve Jobs said, and let's be honest, the guy knew a thing or two about comebacks. I'm convinced that about half of what separates successful entrepreneurs from the non-successful ones is pure perseverance.
So to wrap things up, what's the key takeaway for our listeners today?
I think it's this. Anyone, and I mean anyone, can achieve a comeback. It doesn't matter if it's a professional setback, a personal challenge, whatever. With the right mindset, a healthy dose of resilience, and that willingness to keep pushing forward, you can turn things around. It's about embracing challenges as opportunities, learning from those inevitable missteps, and never, ever letting go of the goals and dreams that matter to you.
I love that. And to leave you with a final thought, what's one area in your life right now where you could apply these comeback principles? Maybe it's a goal you've put on hold, a fear that's holding you back, or a dream you've tucked away in the back of your mind. This deep dive is all about reminding you that it's never too late to write your own comeback story.
You got
You
this.
got this.